slow us down. So without further ado, let us begin. Let me turn off the music and start us off. So this is our second Google Plus Hangout through the NSBE Detroit alumni extension. And I see we had one more person join through our NSBE group. Actually, that was my lovely wife. But I just want to say this is our second Hangout. The first one we did back in November with our NSBE DAE president, Donna Bell. And so this will be our second one, and it is presented by Tamika Williamson, and it is on the 6 to-dos that will make you a smarter graduate. So I'm going to go down to a brief bio about Tamika, and if you look on one of your window screens, you'll see it there. Tamika is leading authority on teaching people how to use the wills to win. She's a Six Sigma black belt in lean and process improvement, and she's analyzed processes and created systems of change for Fortune 100 companies. And maybe you can go into a little detail about that as we go on. I'd love to hear about that.
Okay.
You've been successful in corporate America for 15 years, which is awesome. Increasing in the ranks up to senior management. You're living your dream, which is awesome, and you're passionate about helping others succeed, and is exuded through your energy and ability to engage your audience. So this should be awesome. Again, I want to thank you for joining us for this Hangout. I'm sure you're going to have some very valuable information to impart to us. As a way of giving back to future generations and families, Tamika has committed her life to helping others fulfill their dreams and not make the same mistakes as she did, or I did, or most of us have done, or some of us are currently doing right now. So hopefully this will help you to turn the ship around if you have not yet. Let's see. And lack of knowledge, proper guidance, and preparation, all those things are reasons why we have kind of failed in the past. Let me see if I can get this to get back into Zoom a bit here. I'll just continue reading it. So the time to be ready is not the time to get ready. Ms. Williamson is striving to establish a legacy that keeps on giving by equipping the next generation with tools that will foster success and make them SMARTR, smarter. She's a certified speaker and coach for the John Maxwell team. Tamika developed her signature programs around the 6 wills that make students smarter so they win in life, bringing about positive and sustainable change. That's winning intentionally at leading life, WILL. And it's modeled around standing out, reliving your dreams, and removing the limits, smarter principles. So Tamika is maximizing her experiences to equip others with the tools to either avoid the same mistakes or bounce back quicker and stronger on their journey to fulfill their purpose. Her mission is to develop leaders of today, tomorrow, and the future by teaching youth and leaders how to be, live, and lead smarter. So without further ado, and I'll invite everyone else into the chat that's here. But without further ado, I present to you Miss Tamika Williamson, and I'll let you take it from there.
All right. Well, thank you, Anthony. It's definitely a pleasure to be here and an opportunity to talk to you and the NSBE group. Being an engineer by trade and being a former member, because I'm not actively involved in NSBE, but it was one of the first organizations I got involved with when I was in college. So awesome. It's definitely an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. It's great to have you.
Thank you. Well, young leaders, I hope that you all are ready to take some notes. I invite you to take notes so that you can take down take some notes on the lessons that are going to be shared. And this is really a compilation of 6 smarter things that you should do that will position you to be stronger, more productive, and effective after you graduate from college. And it's based off of the blood, sweat, and tears of people like Anthony and myself and other professionals. These are some of the lessons that we've learned along the way, and we wish somebody took the time to invest in us at your age and give us these tools so we wouldn't have made these mistakes. But there's always a purpose to your pain.
Exactly.
And here's the purpose for our pain. The things we've gone through now, we are imparting it to you. We're sharing the wisdom and the knowledge, and you will then be passed the baton so that you can do the same thing to those who follow you. So I hope that you will take this lesson and let it be part of a mantra that you will model as you continue to move throughout your career. So I know we've said it, Anthony, I don't know about you. As an adult, I would love to go back to my college days.
I would too.
Maybe high school, but
Yeah.
I would not before high school, but I would love to go back to those days, because if I knew then what I know now, wow.
I think most people would say that as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I still say it today, you know. So you ladies and gentlemen, you're still at the prime of your life, and you were probably rushing to become a full-fledged adult and get into the workforce. Don't rush it. Enjoy it while you can, because when you get there, there's no turning back.
Right.
You're going to take on all the responsibility that comes with the territory.
Exactly.
So in taking on that responsibility, going to give you some tools that will help that taking on that responsibility be easier, so that you're not bombarded, stressed out, and feeling like you're unproductive. So we'll go ahead and get started. But let me tell you, when I talk about SMARTER, it's an acronym, and it stands for standing out. S stands for standing out. M stands for maximizing your moment, maximizing every moment. You want to analyze your team. You want to relive your dreams daily. You want to target your time, and you want to remove all limits. And these 6 tools that we're going to talk about are 6 suggestions. It's really centered around that, because if you employ these 6 strategies, then you will find yourself standing out, because you're not going to be like the other people, your other fellow graduates. You're going to be able to maximize every opportunity, because you're going to have more freedom of time, more freedom of resources that would allow you to take advantage of more things, more opportunities. You analyzing your team, surrounding yourself with the right people, building yourself the right team to help you, hold you accountable, and help you make those right decisions, so that you can get your goals can get implemented faster, and you'll be able to go further along your journey.
That's a good
You're
one.
going to target your time. You will have to learn how to manage your time, and not only with what you do for work or how you execute projects, but how you allow other people to maximize your time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people will steal your time. That's one of the biggest areas that's stolen from your life. We only have 24 hours in a day. A third of it should be spent sleeping. The other third is spent working. So how will you spend the other 8? Or are you going to allow somebody else to steal your time, and you're not going to get a return on it? So you have to be smart about how you target your time. And then you want to make sure you remove all limits. Sky's the limit. You implement these strategies, the sky is literally going to be the limit, because you're going to be in a place where you're not going to limit yourself. You're not going to be stuck. So you want to remove every limit that exists. Find a way to find that workaround.
Awesome.
Let it motivate you. So that's what we're talking about, becoming a smarter graduate. So are y'all ready to get started and look at first strategy? All right, I see the heads nod. So let's.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Yeah.
So the first thing, and I put this number 1, because not to say that all of them are not important, but this is top of the list. And it's basically invest, save, invest, save, invest, and save some more. And I repeated that because I wanted you to understand the importance of it. And not only are you going to invest and save financially, but you're going to invest and save professionally. Because if you don't invest in yourself, nobody else will. So when people tend to think of investment, they automatically jump to the financial side, and it's really bigger than that. You have to invest in yourself professionally, making sure you're taking professional development courses that's keeping you on top of your game, making sure you're remaining competitive in your industry, in your field. That's what's going to help you stand out and get noticed. You know, you want to make sure you're getting noticed for positive reasons, not negative reasons. So you want to make sure you are astute in terms of your industry and the trades that you take up. So you want to know what's going on professionally, and you do that by constantly taking developmental courses. If your company don't pay for it, because back in our day when we first came out, Anthony, you know, there was all kind of opportunities to take different type of training courses. Now, oftentimes you got to pay for it yourself.
Yeah, and I've actually had that experience. I mean, in GM, they still do kind of pay for the training that you look for, and again, you have to kind of look for it yourself, because there was a time when, yeah, you would just come out and they would make mandatory training. They would make sure you had your certification in certain things. And when I went to Kansas City just a few years ago to work in the powerhouse, it was kind of up to me to look at ways that I could, you know, make sure that I was relevant and understand the things that were going on. Mm-hmm. And I joined the Association of Energy Engineers for that reason. And I took the test to become a certified energy manager. No one told me to do it. I just kind of went off on my own, and I actually ended up paying for that myself, because they wouldn't do that anymore. But yeah, that's one of the ways to help you stand out. So you're completely right. And it helps you to invest in yourself and continue to grow and move on. So that's a really good point that you bring up.
And you also have to keep in mind, we are a global economy.
Right.
So you have to think globally. You have to think outside of the city and the state that you're in, the community in. What is going on in the world around you? How can you position yourself to take part in that global change and that global shift? So whether it's, hey, going to take some foreign language classes and becoming more fluent in Japanese or in some Mandarin, some of the languages that are really growing, or looking at how you can engage in some type of overseas assignment with your job. Mm-hmm. What is going to set yourself apart so you can market yourself more competitively? That's what you want to look at.
Right.
Now, looking at the financial side, you know, we said invest, save, invest, save. When you get your check, I know you're going to be so excited when you graduate and you get that first large paycheck, like, oh my gosh, I've never had this much money before in my life. What am I going to do? I'm going shopping. I'm going to travel. When I graduated, I spent most of my money on traveling.
Yeah.
I love to shop, but I was all over. I mean, I made so many trips back and forth to Louisiana.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't even funny. And because, of course, part of that is because I was dating somebody there, but still, I just traveled. I enjoyed life. I lived life to the fullest. But if I had known, I would have maximized the opportunity that was before me. And I would have made different decisions. Like I would have paid off my student loan, mm-hmm. which I'm still paying on now.
Right.
Because there was a time where I ended up moving back home with my parents because I got a job in that city and state. And they were like, well, what's the point of getting your own place? Just come stay home. Oh, hey, ding, ding, more free money.
Exactly.
Let's go travel some more. And that's exactly what I did. My parents didn't require me to pay nothing. All I paid was my car note. So I went shopping and I traveled. And that's what I did for almost 4 years.
I think that's what a lot of people like to do. I'm not going to lie, me and my wife, and she's probably laughing right now because that's exactly what we're doing now. We're trying to get as much travel in as possible. I mean, we just went with some friends to Paris and to South Africa before they went to Paris. But yeah, we're really trying to get, a lot more wise about, how we allocate our funds and what we're putting them towards. Are we putting them towards things that will quickly go away? I mean, the experience of traveling is great, and you want to do it before other things do come along, but you have to make sure that you're doing it wisely, and that if you have outstanding loans, you want to start throwing money at that. You don't want it to pile up and gain interest and be with you for the rest of your life. So
exactly. Paying debt is not fun.
No, it isn't.
So that's why you want to invest and save. You want to invest, so maximize your retirement account within your company. Set up an IRA account outside of your company. Get yourself a financial planner, somebody who's going to help you with your money. Have some outside investments. Have your own savings. Pay yourself. Mm-hmm. You should be saving about 10% of your money. Pay yourself. So you want to invest, you want to pay yourself, and you want to pay off your debt. Look at how you can pay off your debt, and how you do that is by setting up a budget. We don't like the B word. Budget, ew, no, set up a budget. It'll be your best friend.
I can't do
It'll
that.
save your life. What'd you say, Anthony?
I said I can't do that.
I know it's hard. I know it's yeah, it is a struggle. But once you start seeing how you're spending your money, especially when you start tracking and you see, oh my gosh, I actually spent $300 on fast food, on eating out in 1 month.
Yep.
Then that would change your perspective, because you're like, I could have did this, this, and this with that $300.
Exactly.
So putting it on paper helps bring the reality of what it is you need to do and how you're doing it. And that takes me to, I say, allocate your dollar, allocate every dollar, or name every dollar, assign every dollar, however you want to look at it. When you get your paycheck, you know what your take-home pay is. Every cent, every penny should be allocated for.
Right.
So that's the part of that budgeting. This 10% goes to myself. 10% is going to my outside savings, because your 401k for your job, that's already taken out, because you're typically, hopefully, you're doing that before taxes.
Yep.
Then whatever amount is going to cover your basic living expenses, and that is where I would say live below your mean, which actually comes up in the next tip. But then you'll know what you're paying for your expenses, and then you'll know how much is left, how much you can pay towards your debt. So the extra, you give yourself some play money. You always want to do that. But if you have the extra that you have left, split it between your savings and paying off debt. Because if you're aggressive and paying off debt, then you'll be a happy camper when you have no more debt. Because I tell you, not having a car note for about 5 years, such a wonderful feeling.
It has to be.
It is such a wonderful, but now I have a car note.
Oh yeah.
No, not things didn't happen the way I planned. I was planning on paying cash, but sometimes life happens.
Right.
But that's where things come into play. And so before I move to the next one, I'll give you a testimony, the importance of saving and what saving does for you. Because once you start learning that compound interest is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
You save and just let it sit there and grow, and then you start looking at your portfolio and like, wow, I started out here and look how it's grown over the years. It makes you feel real good.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't saved, and if I didn't have a financial advisor, which I wish I had earlier on in life, but if I didn't have that when I encountered my layoff, I wouldn't have been in as good of a position as I was.
Right.
They tell you to have at least 6 months worth of income in your savings. I challenge you to have at least a year.
Okay, cool.
I would say have at least a year. That's just a good threshold.
Right.
But I had enough savings where it helped carry me through my unemployment, and I still had money left.
That's awesome. Cool.
So that's the benefit of saving, because you never know when you'll fall on rough times or when you will need it.
Awesome. Tamika, it's 7:21 already. I don't know.
Oh gosh, we only on one. Okay, so we got to move fast. You see, I get it.
Yeah, I know. We kind of got.
This.
Finances are so important, because if your finances aren't right, man, the rest of your life falls apart. So I mean, that's
exactly, and that is really true.
Right. People don't realize that, and then they end up working just to pay off things, and they're not working to enjoy life. You're working to pay off a car note. You're working to pay off school loan. You're just busy doing everything else, and life is passing by. You're not even taking care of yourself. Right. So, but yeah, let's like I said, we got like 9 minutes left. I want you to cram in as much stuff as you can.
Okay, so let's move fast. So the first one we said, invest, save. The
right.
second one is manage your debt. Don't let your debt manage you. So employing some of the tools from step one will help you with this step. Remember, cash is king. So this is where, think about them credit cards. Hopefully you all don't have that many credit cards, because your average college graduate now is graduating with about $4,100 worth of credit card debt. And then on top of that, you got student loan debt at about average of $25,000. So manage your debt. Don't let it manage you. Come up with a plan on how you're going to tackle it, get it paid off, and paid off as soon as possible. Let that be your focus. And even now, when you get that job, you're going to get more credit card offers. Mm-hmm. Please don't say yes to every offer. Don't let it entice you. Don't get caught up in the game. Yep. It's all a game. Manage your credit score. Pay your bills on time. Be diligent in that.
That means check your credit score. I know a lot of people don't even know
Yes.
what their credit score is, and then they, go for something and they're like, I'm sorry, we can't even do that for you, sir. Have you seen your credit score? And they're like, it's
Yeah.
atrocious because people, they carry a lot of debt. So yeah,
That is true. Check your credit score because we're having higher occurrences also of identity theft.
exactly.
So that's another reason why you want to check your credit score. Always check your bank statements. Know what's going on with your money and your credit because people are stealing folks' identity and it's becoming more easy to do anyway. So you have to look at it, put safeguards in place, and protect yourself.
Right.
So I'll leave you with that. Pay off your debt aggressively. And the last thing I'll say on that point, please know the difference between a need and a want.
Mm-hmm.
If you're thinking about buying, especially if you're talking about putting it on a credit card, if you can't pay cash for it, then you don't need it.
Right.
Because you're going to pay, I see somebody laughing, you're going to pay more for it. Why buy something for $100 and you're only going to pay the minimum, and once you get through with the interest, you're going to end up paying $300. So know the difference between need and want.
Yep.
Third tool, the third strategy. Everything is negotiable. People are afraid to negotiate. Some reason we have this misconception that, okay, the price, it is what it is. No, it's not. That's why I say cash is king. Dave Ramsey teaches that. So if you could take his class, it's a great class to take.
Mm-hmm.
But cash is king. Because if you have cash, you really have stronger negotiation power. Because people, if you're paying credit, is not a promise and a guarantee that the merchant is going to get that money. Because folks are defaulting on credit. All kinds of things are happening. So if you have cash, you can really negotiate it. But know that everything is negotiable. Negotiate your first salary.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid. Don't think because I'm a college graduate I can't negotiate my first salary. Know your value. If you have a strong portfolio academically and professionally, negotiate your salary because here's what happened. The higher your salary is, you're setting the stage for your future salaries to come. And know that companies tend to, I'm telling you something from an HR side. I used to be from the hiring side. Companies tend to come if their offer's lower, somewhere around that 20-25 percentile. Get online, do some research, and see what they're paying. Know what the going rate is. Know what your value, know what your worth is. Negotiate. Don't be afraid to negotiate. Never pay full price for anything. Food, furniture, clothes, whatever. Negotiate. All right, so that's number 3. We got to keep moving. We're down to 5 minutes, so we're moving fast. So we're on this freight train, so y'all buckle your seatbelt. Number 4.
We'll ask questions at the end if y'all have questions. You can also type them. I don't know if anyone's typed any questions in the chat, but you can.
I haven't seen any. Yeah, if y'all have questions, type them in there.
Yeah.
Number 4, be prepared to fail. And because you want to be prepared, I'm telling you to be prepared to fail, get over it. It's a part of life.
Sure is.
It's a part of life. What I want you to get from that is know how to bounce back from it. Because that is what determines your character, your leadership. Bouncing back from failure. Learn how to fail forward. That's a book and that's a lesson that I teach. That one of my mentors, he wrote a book on, Dr. John C. Maxwell, Failing Forward. Learn how to fail forward because failure is a part of life. So skill yourself. So that way when you fail, you'll know how to get back up again. Every successful entrepreneur failed at something more than once.
If you had to give like one really big tip, like when you say failing forward, like I'm just trying to think of an example, but I really can't think of one right now. But like what would you say failing forward looks like, or what it would entail? Like if I fail at doing something at work, how should I carry myself, or how should I present myself to my coworkers or my boss that just saw me fail? Like what are some of the things, or even in class, if I get like a bad grade, like how can I fail forward, or how can I bounce back quicker and rebound?
One of the things, the first thing I would do is I would assess what did I do.
Right. Okay.
From what caused the failure. So let's get to the root cause. Is it something that I failed to do, something I neglected to do? Was there an oversight made? Did I not do my full due diligence? What is it that I need to correct?
Okay.
So once you identify that, then you can correct it. Take the action to correct it. Do you need to seek the advice of someone to help you in that correction? Do you need to go get some training? Make the correction. And all the while, keep your head up.
Right.
Keep your head up because it's a part of life. And boss, typically in a work environment, if you're not trying, if you don't fail at anything, then you're not trying to succeed at anything.
Right.
It's just part of life. So if you fail at something at work, a good boss they're gonna look at how you bounce back from it, because the fact that you failed, what's gonna make a difference and tell a lot about yourself is what you do after that. So if you make a bad decision at work, then what you own it. Yes, I made that decision.
Yeah.
It was not the right decision. This is what I based it off of. But now I realize that I should have also considered this, or I should have consulted this person, or I should have done more research, et cetera, et cetera. So now my game plan is I'm going to correct it by doing X, Y, and Z. Or here's what we're going to do differently to improve this particular failure, the result, the outcome of that failure.
So create that game plan too. I like how you said
game plan, own it.
Yep. That's one thing that a lot of people struggle with too. We make a mistake and then we don't want to own it because we don't do that root cause. So we act like it wasn't our fault, and we don't really do enough introspection to realize that, you know, we could have did something better. Most of the time I feel like if I fail at something, it's because I could have done better. I could have put more due diligence into it. And so I go back to it and I'm like, man, if only I had, you know, spent a little bit of extra time studying, or if only I had, you know, talked to extra people to figure out how to approach this problem, then, you know, I would have been good to go. So that's really good. Cool.
And the key in failure is identifying those lessons that you need to be learning, because that's what's going to make you stronger. So don't be afraid to fail. It's a part of life. Keep moving. So that's 4. We got 2. And we're at 7:30, so I'm going to tell you what the last 2 are.
I'm going to give us 2 minutes because we started like 2 minutes late. So, or, you know, we waited 2 minutes, so we can go till 32.
Okay. Now, y'all get y'all questions ready because I'm going to tell y'all these 2 quickly.
All right.
Number 5 is manage your brand. That is something that young people don't consider. Manage your brand, which is basically managing you. You get into these workforce, do not burn bridges. Because you never know who knows. It's all about networking, especially when you get in corporate America and you start playing the game, the bureaucracy game, the bureaucratic game. It's all about who you know. Yeah. You never know who knows somebody, especially with LinkedIn and social media. Don't burn any bridges. Always focus on building relationships. So make sure you're strategic about the relationships you build. Always network. Have some mentors to help coach you along the way. You got to have some mentors. You should always have mentors. You're never too old to have mentors.
Right. Make
sure when you do whatever you do, go above and beyond. You want to make sure you leave a legacy of excellence, hard work, integrity, because that's part of building your brand. Because once you set that standard, people will always want to make you a part of their team. You want to be that person that the company come and say, I want to promote you. Not you having to apply for the job to get promoted. They're going to promote you because they recognize the contributions you made. Manage your social media, please. That's part of your brand. So be mindful of what you post on there. That's part of managing your brand. And then give back. You know, nobody wants to help a selfish person. It's like sowing seeds. You reap what you sow. So if you help another person, help them learn, here's some mistakes I made, so I want to help you out. Somebody's in return is going to help you.
Right.
The last thing is build a life and not just a career. So this is all about balance. So we talked about investing, saving, and investing yourself professionally, but make sure you're not just focusing on your career. Build a life. Everything is not centered. You should not have everything centered around their job. Find out what's important to you. Explore life. So like you talked about, Anthony, or what you and your wife, you guys are exploring the world. Explore life while you can.
Right.
You only have one life to live. So maximize that moment. Maximize those opportunities within reason now. Don't go in debt trying to
get to China.
trying to get to China and you can't even pay your bills. So explore life, experience new things, do something you've never done.
Yep.
If your staff if they're playing golf, or learning how to do golf, then go play golf. Go learn something differently.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to end with. I'm going to end with build a life and not just a career. So those are the 6 things that will put you in a stronger position once you graduate, that's going to set you apart from everybody else if you employ those 6 strategies. So what questions y'all have? Nobody got questions? I know y'all got questions.
I don't see any in the chat, and yeah, if anyone does, I think you can speak as long as you're unmuted. But I didn't want to. It's already 7:33, but you can always either email me, and I can forward them to Tamika as well, so we can do it that way. Does anyone have any questions? Going once, going twice.
I don't know. Take advantage of this opportunity now.
Yeah, Tamika's done a whole lot of speaking, and she's very knowledgeable. So, but if there is anything, and I'm sure that, like I said, there's probably people that are just watching the live feed as well. So I'll try to collect any questions there may be, Tamika, and I can forward them to you and get some answers. But I think this was a great 30 minutes. You definitely gave me some wisdom, because like I said, I'm still, you know, in the mistake prone cycle myself, so there's a lot of things that, you know, I can learn, and a lot of other people can learn, and some people can avoid. So I think this was really good. We had stand out, which was part of, you know, managing your brand, maximize your moment, you know, free time and your money and your resources, analyze your team, the people that are around you. I think that also has a lot to do with building your brand, and who you go to when you seek advice after you know, if you want to avoid making mistakes. Target how you use your time, and remove those limits. I mean, this is all really good. And then you gave all the different tools: invest and save again and again and again, aggressively manage your debt, negotiate everything. That's one thing that's really hard for me to do, because I like to be nice to people. So if they tell me there's a certain price, I just say, okay, I'll pay that.
It's a process. It's a mindset. We go overseas and we negotiate, but when we're here in America, we're just like, yeah, I'll pay the rent.
I don't even go overseas and negotiate. You can ask my wife.
Okay, you know what?
I have a problem with it, but yeah.
I need you not to travel anymore, because if you go over, see, they like you.
Exactly.
They love you.
I'm nice to people. But so yeah, negotiate everything. Fail forward. Be prepared to fail. Know what's going to happen. That's awesome. But own your mistakes. I think that's really important. And then, you know, set a plan and let people know that plan was really important. Manage your brand, create your brand so that you leave a legacy of excellence and give back. And then the last one is build a life. So enjoy life, enjoy the experience. So I think that was some awesome wisdom that you imparted upon us, Tamika. If you have anything else to say, I'm going to open up the floor to you again. Otherwise, we can end it and have a good evening. But Tamika, I'll just want to thank you again. So if you want to say anything, you can.
I will leave you all with this pearl of wisdom, because once you get this information, you're like, okay, this sounds good, but this actually could be an arduous task. Know that all of this is a process. Life is a journey. So you may not do everything at one time. Just pick one thing, focus on it. I don't want to say perfect it, but, you know, get comfortable with it and then move to the next one. So experience life, go through the journey, understand it's a process, and it's not going to happen instantaneously. You're just going to have to go through the process. There's nothing like going through the process. Gold is refined through a process to get the final outcome. Diamonds, you start off with some dark black ugly looking coal, and it comes out to this sparkly diamond. It's all a process. You have to go through that process before you reach that higher level of greatness. So don't get frustrated, don't get discouraged. If you have some accountability partners, they will help you along the journey. You all can do it together.
Accountability. Yeah, get some mentors. I have to get
accountability partners. Are great to have, and these are separate from mentors.
Right. Cool. All right, Tamika, I will leave us at that. Again, if anyone has questions, they can always email me at nsbedeaeci@gmail.com or a.d.davis01@gmail.com, and I'll make sure that Tamika gets your questions. Other than that, I want to thank everyone for joining, if you were in the Hangout, or if you were just watching the live feed. And again, Tamika, I want to thank you again and again for being the second person, the first person that wasn't on the e-board to do it. So really, I can treat you as the first person. But I would like to thank you again so much for doing this. And everyone have a good evening. So thanks again.
Well, thank you all, and let's do it again.
All right, sounds good. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.